You want him back? Do this. Hello Swans, I'm Yvonne, your marriage and divorce coach here at Black Swan Relationship Academy, and today we're going to look at You Want Him Back? Do This. You've been separated for a little while now, and during that time that you've been on your own, you've had the time to think about your relationship or your marriage and how it happened and the role that you played in it. You've had a time to assess your role, and you realize that there were a lot of things that you could have done differently if given the opportunity. And not only if you had been given the opportunity, but the road in which you are on now. When you first started this journey of, being away from him, it was horrendous because you couldn't imagine going another day without seeing him. The children wanted him back, you wanted him back, but you decided, no, in order to go back, then lots of things needed to change. And some of the things that needed to change were things inside you, and you understood and realized that in order for change to take place, you had to do some work on yourself. And the great thing about it is you started to do that work, and you've started on the journey of discovering who you are and that which you want. One of the things that has caused you to now come to this decision of wanting him back was you did the soulmate attraction system, and in doing the soulmate attraction system, it asked you a number of questions that made you stop and really think. One of the things that it asked you was, what did you want from the course? What did you come into it with? And when you answered that, and why did you come into the course, like a lot of women, we do things because somebody suggested it and said, why don't you try this may work, but you don't stop and give it a thought. But here, and because you know that you had to hand something in the next week and speak with your coach, you had to come up with an answer. And it wasn't just an answer that was going to please her. You had to come up with an answer that is right for you. You wanted to do the course, and your expectation of it was to find out who you were, and to find out not just who you were, but how you behaved in relationships. Because the truth of the matter is, we behave in a certain way and we don't see ourselves. It's as you've gone on this journey and not only found out who you are, but you wanted to know what it is that you wanted to get, the system, the course that you were in. Not only were you talking to a coach on a one-to-one basis, but you were also doing a group coach with other women who found themselves in the situation that you were in. And the question that really turned all of this round for you was when you were asked, what does your ideal mate look like? What is it that you want from a relationship with someone? And that stumped you because you had to take the time to sit down and really think, what do I want? You did it after a little while, and then all the things that you wanted, when you had written them down, you looked at it and realized, oh my goodness, but I had that. But what had changed in you was you realized that the person who was in the marriage wasn't the person that you had become now. And because they were two different people, you now realize that the person who you were then and the person you are now, they're chalk and cheese, they're different. And this person, that your significant other, your husband, your spouse, your boo, would love this girl. He would love the person that you're becoming, because when it worked in the relationship, it worked brilliantly, it worked well. You were there for each other, you laughed, you joked, and everything was great. But when it went bad, it really went bad. So you've taken the time to stop and to look at your life and realized, actually, my life would be better with him in it, because we work well together. Please understand me when I say that I am not speaking of women who have left their relationship because their partners, their significant others, or even their husbands were not the kind of person that they would want to be. They were either mentally or verbally abusive, and that's not what they wanted, so they walked away. And unless he's done work on himself and you, then there is no point in you looking to go back. And if that's the case, then, and you haven't already, maybe you need to get in some professional help from a counselor or a therapist who will be able to give you the tools in order for you to take your life forward. But if that is not you, and because you were not communicating with one another, you let the mountains build up under that, you'd swept everything under the rug, and then you were unable to walk around it. And so because you were unable to walk around it, you had to take yourself out of the situation so that you could breathe, take the time to look at yourself and decide what was it you wanted. Now you've decided that you want him back. What are you going to do in order to get him back, or to get on the right page where the two of you have begun to communicate so that you can move your life forward together? You've made that decision and you want to move forward, and you're probably thinking to yourself, I know you'll engineer a situation where the two of you come together, and you turn up there, he's there, you're looking oh so fine, he's looking, the two of you are having a conversation, and you may say to him, I really miss you, and I think maybe we should give this one more time. That is not the situation for you to have the conversation in, because you're speaking to somebody who you believe, because you've changed, he's seen the change in you, but you've had little or no interaction up until that point. So you saying to him, I think we should get back together again, is not going to be the right thing to say at that time. What you need to do is to really stop and think and put a plan together of what it is that you want out of the relationship in moving forward. What are you going to do that is different? Whilst you've worked on yourself and you know how to handle your triggers and you know what it is that you want, he doesn't know what it is you want. He doesn't know that you've done any of those things. And one of the things I may suggest to you that you do is to write him a letter. Now, you're thinking to yourself, you hear me say that, is this woman mad? Where's she coming from? But stop and think about it for a moment. When was the last time that you wrote him a letter, if at all? When have you actually sat down and wrote about you to anyone? To say in the letter that you're going to write is you're taking responsibility for your actions in the marriage, for the things that you did wrong, for not giving him the opportunity to speak, for not communicating, for withdrawing yourself emotionally from him when he had done something, that you thought was wrong. When was the last time that you told him truthfully that you're really sorry for the way in which you reacted and the things that you did? And not only that, the things that you are now doing and have done to make sure that they don't happen again. Not only that, but the change that has taken place in you and how you're going about doing that so that you will continue to grow as the two of you get back together. After you've written the letter and you've given it some time, there's a famous saying that says the pen is mightier than the sword. And by the time he's read that and had time to digest it, you have to then give him the opportunity to make contact with you. When that happens, there is also another saying that says actions speak louder than words. So whilst you have written to him and told him about the change that has taken place in you, then he's got to see that change.
There are two types of women. One that positions herself to be a winner using a man's very own nature. We call that woman a black swan, or a woman who is convinced that she can scream, shout, and complain and change a man's nature. Now, if you are a black swan, I have decided to help you out. Ladies, I am offering you a free, yes, another free masterclass on the secrets of a man's mind. In this course, we're going to look at the things that men will never tell you, are afraid to tell you, don't even know they need to tell you, assume you should know. We're gonna look at the man's brain, how he is wired, his heart, his spirit. How does he really think? What is going on in his mind when he meets you, marries you, dates you, courts you? We're gonna look through every aspect and you will be able to understand the secrets of a man's mind. And being a black swan, you will be able to use those secrets to create the love life you crave and deserve. If that sounds good to you, all you have to do is follow any of the links or wherever you see this video, and I will see you on the other side.
So whatever it is that you've done, you know how to speak to him to get the right answers from him. You know how to stroke and not strike. You know how to be attentive and present when you're listening. You know how to be the very best version of you. You know that in communicating, both of you need to be present in that moment. And the things that you've learned while you were doing the soulmate attraction system, I can now apply it as you're getting back together with him. There are things that you're going to say that he will stop and think, oh, she didn't say that before. There are things that you will do that he's remembering, she used to do that and that was great, and it's your change. And as you get back together slowly, that's what's going to turn him around, because he's seeing the new you. This new you is confident. This new you walks with her head up. She smiles. There's a new light in your eyes that he's seen, and he's loving the transformation that is in you. These are some of the things that you can do that is going to aid you in getting him back. Hence your decision that you have made in you want to have him back into your life. The move that you're going to make with writing the letter and also, demonstrating the things that you've learned. It's daring. It's going to be daunting. You're going to be afraid that he may reject you. But what you're going to have to do is continue with the pursuit, continue with the opening dialogue, continue doing all the things that you have been doing, where you're seeing him change, because you truly know in your heart that the two of you were meant to be together, and together you can make this work and you can have a beautiful life together. If I've said anything here that has resonated with you and you'd like to take this further, check out the link in the description box below and book a discovery call with me so we can look at it. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe. Until we meet again next week, have a fabulous week. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you soon. Bye.